If that blood had not been available to me, I would have died.
Every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs a blood transfusion.
It's the difference between life and death.
But far too few are rolling up their sleeves.
I can't imagine how scary it would have been if there's like a blood shortage and like maybe they don't have whatever he needed in that moment.
Today, we're talking about the need for blood donors.
You are literally, with every donation, you are choosing to save someone's life.
And hearing from the people who've received the life-saving gift.
It's just a profound gratitude. It's like you can't thank people enough for the breath of life.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Elizabeth Cook.
I'm Ann Makovic in for Liz, and this time of year is commonly called the season of giving. But blood banks say they can be left out of the holiday generosity with donations dropping this time of year. Today, we're talking about the dire need for blood donors and how your gift could really save a life. All the holidays are busy. We all know that. And all that running around can result in people skipping appointments that otherwise you would take care of all year round. According to blood service provider Vitalant, donations tend to drop by more than 20% this time of year, but the need certainly does not go away. One person who knows the importance of giving blood is the mayor of San Mateo, Lisa Diaz-Nash. In 2005, she was in an accident that resulted in second and third degree burns on her body. She needed multiple surgeries and 2 years of physical therapy. The only lasting sign of her accident is a hoarse voice. Nash credits blood donations for her recovery.
I am a proud B negative, and we are one of the most rare cases. So I can only receive blood from people like me who have similar blood types. So it's even more important that everyone donates whenever they can.
Well, the mayor says that she gives blood about every 8 weeks. Earlier this year, she actually got a special text saying that her donation helped save a life. And for that, she says, as long as they'll take her, she will never stop giving. Another person who credits blood donation for saving her life is Denise Rediker. She needed a heart transplant, and she tells our Reed Cowan that the blood transfusions after the surgery, well, that's what kept her alive.
So this is our home away from home.
Denise Rediker is in her happy place, a place where she lights up thinking about how good life is and how fragile.
I've been in heart failure for most of my adult life.
Hitting the road with her husband Jim for a nature drive, Denise tells me she was diagnosed in her 20s with postpartum cardiomyopathy, a weakening and enlargement of the heart muscle. Not many years ago, she was told she only had a year to live without a heart transplant.
It was about a week after I heard that news. I had a massive cardiac arrest.
Denise took this photo from a much different ride, the back of an ambulance.
And they told me that I was moving into the hospital to Stanford University to wait for my life-saving transplant.
Miraculously, though, a donor heart became available, and so did the blood needed for the surgery to save her life.
I had a new heart and several pints of donated blood that were keeping me alive.
It was a hard path back, but now simple walks are wows.
Everything's beautiful, everything's a wow. People get tired of me. Look at the green grass, look at the clouds, even the rain. It's just stunning. Blades of grass shoot up and they struggle through the clay, and then it becomes this like magnificent green that you see everywhere. Isn't that just an analogy for life? Is the struggle produces the beauty?
Life, she says?
Life is great.
Life is great because somebody did the very least they could do, giving blood on some ordinary day for extraordinary results for a total stranger.
They might have just been going to their company blood drive that is out in the parking lot and they felt like it was the thing to do. It's the difference between life and death. You are literally, with every donation, you are choosing to save someone's life.
And for saving hers, Denise knows somewhere under the sky that she sees as a miracle is somebody who gave her miracle.
I hope that they realize the heroes that they are. I hope that they see the difference that they're making.
Wow, Denise and her husband Jim founded the Heartfelt Help Foundation to help pay for transplant recipients' housing expenses. Well, blood transfusions are a lifeline to people in crisis and battling disease. Coming up, how the life-saving gift changed the lives of a couple living in Hayward. Gorgeous sunset out there. Welcome back to our conversation on the need for blood donations. Now we want to introduce you to a couple in Hayward that is still dancing together because both of them received the gift of blood. Itai Hod has their story.
At 73, Wanda Williams still can't believe the joy she gets from something as simple as a walk in the rain.
So easy to take for granted those things that you never have to worry about.
15 years ago, Wanda was rushed to the hospital after doctors discovered a blood clot on her lung, a complication from a debilitating disease called sickle cell.
It was difficult to walk really from like the bedroom down the hall to the kitchen. And I thought, oh my God, will I ever be able to do something as simple and basic as that again?
But then she was given blood transfusions and her health began to turn around.
I was just so energized. I started asking the doctor, is this how everybody feels when you have, just regular hemoglobin flowing through your veins? I mean, I felt like I could paint the house.
During all that time, it was her husband Gene who took care of her, made blood donations whenever he could. And when things got dark, he would brighten up her day with a little dancing.
It is our special little recipe for 35 plus years of marriage and relationships. Nobody participates in it, just us.
After 2 years of monthly transfusions, Wanda was able to get back on her feet and her walks.
It's just a profound gratitude. It's like you can't thank people enough for the breath of life.
But just when they thought they'd seen the worst of it, in a cruel twist of fate, it's her husband Gene who's now in need of transfusions as he battles a second bout of cancer. And this time, it's Wanda who's doing the caregiving. The irony, he says, isn't lost on him.
Definitely surreal. Definitely switching roles.
Gene is now going through radiation and chemotherapy, and even though life has thrown them yet another major curveball, they say they're thankful for all those men and women who rolled up their sleeves and allowed them to fight another day. And while there's still many challenges ahead, they're optimistic, knowing they can get through life step by step with a little help from blood donors and the healing power of dance.
What a wonderful couple. Joining me now to talk about blood donation is Kevin Adler with Vitalent Blood Donations. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
So tell us about the need specifically this time of year.
Right about now, we don't see about 20%, or we're seeing about 20% fewer donors than we do normally throughout the entire year. And that's because, people are busy, it's Thanksgiving, people are traveling, the weather and the rain. But the flip side, patients don't get to take a vacation from needing blood. So we need people to donate blood no matter what. Blood is perishable. It doesn't stay on the shelf for very long, and it's constantly going out to hospitals. So we need to continually replenish that supply. So we're urgently asking people to donate blood.
Yeah, so it makes sense. You want it to be fresh. What is the shelf life of something like blood and or plasma?
When someone donates blood, it has a shelf life of 42 days, but typically it never reaches that day period. It's going out to hospitals really as soon as we can get it processed, tested, and shipped to the hospital. It's not lasting 42 days, but the shelf life of a whole blood donation is 42 days.
Okay, but so that being said, if you don't have people coming in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you're going to have a real problem.
That's why we're asking the people or the population in your audience to donate, because typically, like I said, we see usually a drop of donations this time of year, typically about 20%. And like I said, patients, they don't get to take a vacation. So we urge you to come in and make your donation. Over half the population is eligible to donate blood. So if you've been told that you can't donate, or if you haven't been able to donate before, check again because now you might be eligible.
Yes, and including gay men. Rules were recently loosened to allow gay men to donate blood. Have you seen any sort of change since that rule has gone into effect?
Nothing that we could actually point to, but we are seeing first-time donors who are coming into the donation center or at community blood drives. We don't specifically ask them, or we don't have a way to pinpoint if they are or if they have been affected by the changes by the FDA.
Mhm.
But we have seen a lot of first-time donors come in, whether it's because of those rule changes or not. I don't know.
So tell us about, the worst case scenario. You don't have enough donors. What ends up, falling between the cracks? What happens if there's a major shortage?
Well, one, we never want to reach that point.
Right.
But if it comes to that point, doctors and hospitals, they have to make those difficult decisions, decisions that are choices that they don't want to make. Whether it's who needs the blood the most, and it's our job to make sure that that doesn't happen. We're working all the time with hospitals and doctors to effectively and maximize each and every donation. So we don't want to reach that. We don't want to reach that level.
Yeah, certainly. Well, this conversation so far has been inspiring. I think I'm going to go and donate blood. But I will admit, it's actually been a few years because it's just something that goes by the wayside. And a lot of people are just frankly afraid of needles. What would you tell them about the experience of donating blood?
Sure. First and foremost, it's really super simple. It only takes about an hour from the time that you walk in until the time you leave. The actual donation process is only about 10 to 15 minutes. And then, our phlebotomists, they want to make your donation as easy and painless as possible. They're professionals, they're well trained. They want to make sure it goes as smooth as possible. It's a slight pinch, but after that, you're going to feel wonderful. You're going to have some snacks afterwards, and you're going to walk out of there knowing you saved someone's life. Someone is going to be on the receiving end of your blood. That's only going to be provided by a generous donor just like yourself.
All right, Kevin Adler with Vitalent Blood Services. We really appreciate you and hope that a lot of people out there are encouraged to donate.
You're
We'll
welcome.
be right
Thank you.
back. Thanks for watching. You can always get all the latest headlines and weather over on KPIX Plus. And remember to like and click the button on the bottom left of your screen to subscribe for the biggest Bay Area news.